Hey, this is Chantal Girardi from Online Business Marketing, and today's a little bit of a weird one. We're going to be talking about regulating your nervous system because seriously, it is the hidden key to your business performance. Now, for myself personally, probably my breathwork specific journey started about 3 years ago. I was going through a breakup and feeling really bad that I wasn't able to support the person a person in my life that was going through trauma, and I wasn't able to support that person. And I was basically beating myself up and then needed really to support myself. So that led me on this journey of doing breath work to better support my nervous system. Also, for me to better understand how trauma gets stored inside the body and how you can actually get it out the body. And then I went on this journey of doing it for myself and then looking at how I can actually get certificates in it so that I could be a trauma-informed coach and better support the business owners and the marketing doers. Because what I noticed was if there were business owners over here and business owners over here, and if they all were following the strategies and doing the work, why was it that some of them would doing it and achieving so much more and had more capacity and others weren't? They were constantly self-sabotaging, and not getting the results and not progressing. And I was like, what is that reason? And a lot of it had to do with this mindset, but a lot of it had to do with this fact that they were storing trauma and they were living in this fight flight consistently. And it was basically self-sabotaging their results. Another really cool thing that I learned with all of this stuff as well was that you don't have to pay to go to somebody to do it. Now, I've got two people on the call that are probably going to shoot me for that saying that, but basically, you can breathe anytime, right? So if you're going to use breath work as a way to deal with your trauma and to help you with your capacity and help you regulate your nervous system, you can breathe anytime, anywhere. You just need to take some time to go and do it, right? In saying that, I do recommend that you do speak to a professional and go and get yourself some help. I know for me, when I'm having a really tough time, I go and I sign myself up to other people's breathwork stuff because firstly, it's allocated time and I've got somebody monitoring me as well and supporting me through that process. The other reason I really like breathwork in helping you with the regulated nervous system was because with breath work, it wasn't, I was going for NLP, I was going for hypnosis, I was doing a lot of affirmations, I was doing a lot of mindset. But what I found was I was doing a lot of, I was doing, right? And the thing about breath work is that it's the body doing it. So once you start breathing, your body actually tells you what it needs to do or how it needs to sort itself out. So from a logical perspective, I logically was trying to stop all these things. That's like, why am I having these thoughts? I shouldn't be thinking this. I'll stand in front of the mirror. I'll say another 10,000 affirmations and I'll feel better and I'll feel better. But I was absolutely exhausted from continually trying to do something because I was trying to figure it out here. Whereas when you do the breath work stuff, all you have to do is breathe and your body will sort it out. And that's one of the reasons why I really love the breath work stuff, and have gone down this journey. So I have just come back from Bali, just completed my level 2 in breath work, along with still in the process of completing my somatics. I've also done my trauma informed cert. And then about 2 years ago, I did my NLP and hypnosis as well. What has it got to do with being a marketing agent? Absolutely nothing. Agency, it has nothing to do with it. All it does is hopefully make me a better human and a better coach. But I can tell you this, it does give me a better quality of life because when you go through your day to day, you can go through the 24 hours and you can go through like this, or you can go through like this, whoa, man. And your whole experience of your day is going to be completely different to how everyone else is doing it. And the funny thing is, those people who are going through their day like this, they're the ones who think they're getting a lot of stuff done. But have you ever heard that question where it's like, if you want something done, ask a busy person? Why is that? It's because they're just cruising, man, and shit's just happening. Life is happening. They're in flow. They're able to manifest and, find the parkings, and all good opportunities come to them all the time. And it's because basically they've regulated their nervous system and they're at a calm, proactive state rather than a reactive state. Cool. So if you want to perform well as a leader, as a mum, as an entrepreneur, as a podcaster, like however you want to lead your life, regulating your nervous system is a huge part of that. The other part of that is also being able to unlock your creativity. So many people say that they get stuck they get overwhelmed, and they not creative anymore, and or the opposite, they create all the time, but then they don't have the follow through of actually putting things into action and following through the actual process or the strategy. So both ways can happen, and often it can be from a dysregulated nervous system. It can highly impact your decision-making skills, where you can get decision-making fatigue. Have you ever felt like, oh my God, I can't answer another thing. Don't ask me what I want for dinner tonight. I can't tell you because I've got no idea. I'm tired of making decisions all day long. That's another sign as well. So as the world is moving faster and faster, and it becomes more demanding, I think that it's important for us to be super aware that we'll be aware of what it is that we want for our life, and also how we run our days. And regulating that nervous system is important, and making sure that you allocate time for that's important, but also being self-aware as to, oh, hold on a sec, how am I feeling right now? I'm not in a good space, and this isn't the time for you to now go out and do sales calls. This isn't the time for you now to go and do a landing page. This isn't a time for you to go and check your emails. This is actually a time for you to step away from your business, go into nature, get some fresh air, and do some of the breathwork stuff, or the nervous system regulation stuff. Cool. So a regulated nervous system can affect your decision making, your creativity. It can also actually impact your communication. Now, if you think about it, social media is communication. Email marketing is communication. When you've got a regulated nervous system, your tone in your marketing and your communication is completely different to somebody who's got a dysregulated nervous system. I have said this 1,000 times in all my podcasts. People can sniff it in your content, where they get it, and the content, it just blocks you, right? The content blocks you because you can actually feel the energy on the other side of it. So a regulated nervous system also affects the way that you execute your strategies, your capacity to lead efficiently, and of course it affects your marketing output. Those of you who've got a huger capacity can get a lot more done, right? So an example of this is that, when you've got your computer, or I've got Apple, and Apple's asking you to do updates. If you've got, and Tom and I have been through this, if you've got a gazillion tabs open, and if you've got so much stuff like stored on your files, everything slows down. Your computer just cannot function because there's so much going on in the background, and there's so much stuff in there that everything is just glitchy and slow, and it is basically draining everything that is happening. And that is exactly how it works. However, when you do some of these exercises that I'm going to talk to you about, it cleans it up. It's like running an update. It clears everything. It gives you, like, your batteries are recharged. You've now got more clarity. You've now got the bandwidth to be able to deal with things when they happen. And the way that you deal with them, your energy towards it shifts as well. And you're able to do it more and better. So it does help you to restore your capacity, and gives you more capacity than you could ever imagine, which is amazing. So you'll start to think clearly, you'll start to lead confidently, and you'll start to implement consistently. So becoming aware of your state, like, what is my state right now? How am I actually feeling? And being able to name your state and name that emotion, and noticing those symptoms, which could be things like tension, irritability, racing thoughts or shutdown, and or even you know being reactive, like, damn, that bloody car just like came in front of me, and whatever, like being able to react like that. These are like signs and symptoms that right now you're like not in a great place. I mean, unless you choose to be a person that behaves that way. I mean, we've all got that choice, right? But being able to allocate that time and take time in your day. And for me, it's every morning. Everyone knows my morning routine is until 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, from about 5 a.m. It's a big routine that I have. And then from 5 to 6 p.m. again, I've got like a switch off routine that I do as well, to make sure that I have the capacity to be able to run my business and my team, and to stay creative as well. Cool. So okay, so nervous system regulation for me has definitely changed the way that I coach. It definitely has changed the way that I lead my team. And it's also helped me with my virtual assistants. If you checked last week, I think it was a Facebook Live on how I had a meeting with my team, and it was really a sort of a Monday check-in around planning and performance. But instead, it ended up being like, what is your relationship with money, and how does your relationship with money affect your role? And oh my God, like it opened up the most amazing conversation between myself and my team members. We connected at such a deeper level, and the awareness that all of them had around how it affects themselves in their social media role, how it affects them in their email marketing role, how it affects them when they're pitching, how it affects them when they're doing sales calls was absolutely mind-boggling and was so insightful. But it also gave us a great space to then have a conversation about what are some of the things that you could do to improve your relationship with money and your thoughts, and then how will that actually impact your job role? And it was a fantastic exercise that we did. So me having this information has made me a better leader in that aspect, because I can now do this with my clients and my teams. So I'm going to give you some stats, because stats are really good, but 70% of business owners experience chronic burnout. Okay, 70% of business owners experience chronic burnout. For my mother, she was a single mother. Single mother, 4 kids, basically gave up work, I'm going to say in her 50s, and she lived consistently in fight and flight her entire life. And last week we got a diagnosis that she's now got white matter disease, and that has been caused by high cortisol level, high blood pressure levels, high cholesterol levels her entire life. So what we thought was dementia is actually not, it's white matter disease. And it's basically because of the no blood flow to the brain vessels in her head due to the high cholesterol, high blood pressure, high cortisol. And that has now impacted the quality of her life moving forward for the rest of her life, which is incredibly sad. So she burnt out and had to stop work at the age of 50. And that is manifested through her body now, because the body keeps the score. So stress reduces cognitive performance by 50%. So imagine if we go the opposite of that. Imagine if you had clearer thought. Imagine if you took some time out to look after your mental health and well-being, and you improved your brain thinking by 50%. How much better do you think your business would be? How much better do you think your marketing would be? If you just took that small time to improve, small time to do the breathwork type stuff and the nervous regulation stuff, if your brain increased by 50%, how much better would that be for you? 64% of marketing teams say that decision fatigue is their number one challenge. So 64% of marketing teams said that decision fatigue is their number one challenge. Teams with dysregulated leaders produce 35% output. So if you as a leader have a dysregulated nervous system and you are leading your marketing team or your virtual assistants, they will produce 35% less output. So again, that's a third. Can you imagine if your VAs performed a third better than what they are right now by you improving your nervous system? And this last one is creativity drops by up to 60% under chronic stress. So if you've got chronic stress, your creativity decreases by 60%. So again, imagine the opposite of that. Imagine if you improved your stress and therefore improved your creativity by 60%. How would that impact your business? So when your nervous system is dysregulated, you feel stuck and you don't know what to do. You keep rewriting tasks all the time because you're unclear. You keep jumping between roles and platforms. You keep second guessing your decisions. You become reactive with communication. You overwhelm your team without meaning to. You avoid marketing because it feels too heavy and overwhelming. You feel behind even when you're doing well. I was talking to a business owner last week and they were saying, I think they made five sales. And they were like, yeah, but we can make more. And I'm like, but you made 5 sales. Can you stop for a second? Can you ring your bell? Can you jump up and down and get excited? You made 5 sales. So yeah, it's just a whole new way of looking at things. So it creates the illusion that marketing or your business is the problem, when actually the barrier inside your business is your capacity. And that is by having a dysregulated nervous system. So when your system is regulated, your clarity improves, your team understands its priorities, or you understand your priorities. You and your marketing doer implement consistently. You make decisions calmly. Your creativity flows. You delegate with trust. You follow your own marketing plan and you stay consistent. A regulated business is a scalable business. And for those of you who watched the live I did this morning, I spoke about can both things be true? Can you be in scale mode right now, working on your business and scaling and putting everything together, but at the same time, can you keep a regulated nervous system and prioritize things like I did this morning about going out to the beach and having a beach swim and just getting grounded before my day because I know I have a big week. Both things can be true if you choose that for yourself. So what is the cost of inaction? So how does it pay? As I said, for my mother, not great. All right. It's probably one of the reasons why in my 20s, looking at my mother's health, I made the decision that I was going to learn and be better at it so that I didn't walk the same track. So let's look at the financial losses. Well, inconsistent marketing is inconsistent leads. Reactive decisions waste money. Miscommunication increases your rework costs. Errors increase your stress rise. And it can also affect the way that you do your sales calls. Cognitive decline, so poor memory, poor focus, slower implementation, and difficulty starting tasks or completing them. And the emotional drains that you can experience is overwhelm, irritability, chronic stress, lack of motivation, and avoidance. If your body struggles to feel safe, your business will struggle to grow. So one of the biggest things that I learned in breathwork, which explained everything, because in NLP and hypnosis, it was always around the 5 things. I think anger was number 1, and Alison and Damien will probably know better. But I think it was anger, sadness, grief. There was an order of 5 things that generally people mostly have or deal with. That we learnt about. And at the end of the day, Breathwork summed it up for me. They just said, if you feel your entire thing is about feeling safe and supported. If you don't feel safe and supported by yourself and by the universe or by God, you're not going to be able to perform. You're going to live in fear. So whether or not you have anger, fear, sadness, it all falls under, do I feel safe and secure? And where does that come from? Okay, so I've got a couple of practical ones here for you. So I've got 6 different practical ways you can do it, but I also have created a guide called 11 Ways to Thrive and Not Just Survive. So there is a podcast on it. We also have a downloadable resource for you as well if you'd like to check that. And there are 11 things that you could do. So you could just go to the bathroom at work and do it. You could just walk outside for some fresh air and go and do it. There are 11 things that you don't have to just lie on your back and take a whole hour out of your day to do, but there are things that you can do very quickly. But here I've just given you six ones to do very easily. So I'm sure everyone knows about the box breathing or the 4-box breathing. It's a way that you can slow your heart rate down, and it signals safety to the brain. It reduces your cortisol by activating the parasympathetic nervous system. And it's super simple. You basically breathe in for 4, you hold for 4, you exhale for 4, and you hold for 4. And ideally, if we can repeat that 4 times, that would be amazing. So the balanced breath pattern reassures your system that you're not under threat. So you go from surviving and being in a sort of a freeze or flight or fright mode to suddenly go into a relaxed mode instantly, which is kind of cool. And therefore, it will help you if you do this before, for example, sales calls, or even when you are creating content or pitching online or making decisions, it can help you. So it's like, I can't make a decision right now. Go and do 4-box breathing, come back and watch what happens. You'll suddenly be able to do that. The second one's called somatic orienting, and that is basically about looking around the room and just naming 5 objects. You can also attach those to the 5 senses as well. So I hear a bird, I see a red car, I smell the diffuser, and you can go through your 5 senses, but that helps you to tell your nervous system, I'm safe right now, and it pulls you out of being hypervigilant. So when you're feeling anxious or you're feeling hypervigilant and overwhelmed, this exercise can help you. It can restore your presence and improve your focus. Number 3 is shaking and resetting. So you'll notice that an animal in the wild will shake it off. And for me, I call it a 2-minute tantrum. And it allows me that when I'm processing something, I will actually go and I'll shake it off. I'll either fight and I'll do something, but sometimes I'll just dance and I'll let myself do that for at least 20 seconds. For me, I normally 2-minute tantrum. This is where I'll scream, shout, do what I want to do, but I allow my body to express it and get it outside of my body. So animals do it in the wild to release excess adrenaline, and humans are wired the same way. So shaking discharges the stuck survival energy, reduces tension, and resets your system quickly. Number 4 is the 90-second emotional reset. So set a 90-second timer and allow the emotion, so stress, frustration, irritation, to move through you without suppressing it. So emotions are chemical waves that only last about 90 seconds unless we resist or overthink them. Allowing the sensation to pass resets your clarity and prevents emotional spirals. So for me, when I went to this retreat in Bali, I couldn't understand. Like I just kept getting triggered by, there was certain things that were just triggering me, and they were so weird. They're like, they should not be triggering me at all. But I took some time out just to sit and process that and work out what that was. And as soon as I did, I was not triggered anymore. So naming it certainly helps. So a nervous system check-in is asking yourself, like, what state am I in right now? Am I in fight, flight, freeze? Am I feeling regulated, dysregulated? What does my body need right now? So this is an exercise that I learned. I worked with a love coach about a year ago. I was like, yeah, if I'm getting back into like dating and stuff, I better work with a love coach and like, work out what I'm doing. And one of the things that she said to me is rather than wake up every day and just go to the gym, like start to ask my body, what does it actually feel like doing today? So now I go, do you feel like going for that cycle today? Or do you feel like more of a swim? Or do you feel like doing some yoga? And then I also try and get it to my heart. Well, not try, I do get it to my heart, not my head. So not my head and I better go to the gym, smash myself out in a HIIT workout today so I can burn lots of calories, because that's coming from a fear thing or from an ego thing or from a I need to lose weight thing, as opposed to a what does my body actually need right now? It needs some love, it needs some stretching, it needs some yoga, it needs some breathing, and asking your body what it needs. And then also asking what are some of the small actions that we can take right now. So there are small little things that you can do. And I think that's a live that I created yesterday, which was what are those small little things that you can do that are going to move you in the right direction? For me, it's putting in my diary, because if it's in the diary, it'll happen. I've got my diary, it's in my calendar. I've got my notifications turned on and I know it's going to happen. If it's not in the diary, it's not going to happen. Okay. The other thing is like getting in the diary, go and get yourself coaches. On the call here, we've got Alison, we've got Damien on the call. So you guys who are watching on YouTube, please feel free to reach out to them. They are experts in this. If you are in around the Brisbane area, we've got Tom who deals with sound healing as well. So you can go and find out his sessions as well. So we've got no excuses. Book yourself into these sessions. I do that all the time, but it is nice to know that there are these things that you can do for yourself. And then the last one is looking at regulated leadership, with your team, or yourself, actually telling yourself what to do or telling your team what to do. So before delegating or giving feedback, take 10 to 20 seconds to slow your breath down and settle your body. Because a regulated leader is going to create psychological safety, which increases the team's confidence, clarity, and performance. When you regulate first, your team mirrors your state, not your stress. So when I get back from traveling, I have had a tendency to in the past go, I've been traveling, I've been spending lots of money, I got to come back now, come to my team, we need to be making sales, we need to be making money, we need to do whatever. I go, okay, what is this? This is a fear response. This is my feeling of lack. I'm disregarding the fact that they've all been doing a fantastic job while I've been away. They've all been doing what they're supposed to do. I come in like a hurricane going, we need to make more money. We got to do stuff. And I'm like, whoa, just take a step back. How am I feeling? Why am I feeling like this? Where does that come from? And go in with a completely different energy. And that's what led to the meeting last week, where we went over and did the money mindset with everyone, which helped them come to the decision that themselves that some of their money mindset was actually hindering their performance. So it was a great session that we did. So how does the nervous system regulate or affect your business performance? Well, it improves your focus, your clarity, your communication, and your consistency, which is directly going to influence your revenue, your leadership, and your marketing output. Why do business owners and marketing people struggle with overwhelm? Usually because of unclear communication, because there's rapid changing priorities all the time, and there are pressures which activate the stress response, and it reduces implementation. So if we can regulate the nervous system, regulate the stress with ever-changing things that are coming in and decision makings, you're going to be able to be more effective in your implementation. What are the signs of a nervous system dysregulation in your business? Procrastination, reactivity, indecision, overworking, overwhelm, inconsistency, and creative blocks. And can somatic and breathwork practices really improve your marketing results? Yes, 100%. They can calm your body, help you to make better decisions, produce higher quality content, and stay consistent with that strategy. I don't know about you, but whenever I do exercise or my meditation and stuff in the morning, as soon as I've done it, I'm like, I have so many ideas. I'm feeling so focused. I just feel absolutely amazing to tackle the day. So how can your leaders support their marketing teams? By communicating clearly, regulating themselves first, so putting the oxygen mask on yourself first before giving feedback, and then creating a safe space for your virtual assistants, but also through structure and through systems. So I did a live the other day, and it was on, at the end of the day, there's a soul side. So you can do all this stuff to help you regulate your nervous system. But at the other end of it, if you start putting systems in place and structure in place, that's also going to support you, right? So that's basically what I wanted to talk to you about today, about regulating your nervous system, going and getting support or putting it into your day to day at least. As I said, you can download the 11 ways to thrive and not just survive, which you can download, or you can listen to the podcast. For our live audience now, we're going to do a bit of a Q&A, and then we're actually going to do a daily practice. So two of the things that well, there's three things actually now that I'm trained at with when it comes to breath work. The one is a daily practice, which is about 5 to 10 minutes, can go up to 15, but we'll probably just do 5 to 10 today. And then from there, which is a seated one. The second one I do is about an hour journey, which is a transformational journey, which is lying down. And then the last one is a somatic one, which is a 1 hour breathwork session, then using touch or energy transference, if you believe in that, to be able to assist moving the energy throughout the body. Because basically what happens with trauma is it gets stored in the body, and we need the body to express it. We need it to come out. I'm not going to freak out everyone on this call and tell them how. If you listen to the podcast, it'll share it with you, but just know that I don't do anything. The facilitator does nothing. They all except facilitate it. Your body knows what it needs to express it. We're only there to facilitate what it is that your body needs. So for those of you who are watching on YouTube, thanks so much. If you haven't already, please make sure that you subscribe and you turn on the notification button. Please feel free also to download that free resource, and I look forward to checking in with you again soon.